Assalamualaikum students. Good evening. How are you all? I hope you all are having a great time at home. So let's start our today's lesson. But before starting the lesson, I want you to recall our previous lesson, what you have learned in our previous lesson. So can you all tell me how day and night occurs? We have already learned this in our previous lesson, right? Can you recall it? Okay, so now that you all know how day and night occurs and how Earth revolves around the sun, how Earth rotates, and what are the planets in our solar system. Today we are going to learn about the phases of the moon. So first of all, I am going to share our learning intention and success criteria for today's lesson. Learning intention. Today we are going to learn about the moon and its appearance, success criteria, state why moon reflect light, name the phases of the moon, observe the moon and complete a table by drawing the phases of the moon. So that was our learning intention and success criteria for today's lesson. So as you know what we are going to learn today, I have a question for you all. So the question is, have you all seen a moon? I am sure all of you have seen it. So does moon reflect light? Does it reflect light? If yes, why? If no, why? Okay, so to find the answer for this question, next we are going to watch a video about the moon. So let's all watch the video with me.
Hello friends! Welcome to a new video from Happy Learning. Today we are going to learn about the moon. The moon is the only satellite that rotates around our planet, and it takes 28 days to completely go around the Earth. But do we know what a satellite is? A natural satellite is any kind of celestial body that rotates, or actually orbits around the planet. The moon is never still. It moves in two ways. It has a movement of rotation and a movement of translation. That is to say, it rotates around the Earth. The duration of the movement of rotation and translation is 28 days. Because it takes the same amount to rotate on its own axis and to completely go around the Earth, the moon always shows us the same face. When we observe the moon along a period of time, it appears to change shape. These changes in appearance are called lunar phases and they repeat every 28 days. There are 4. Full moon, first quarter, new moon, and last quarter. The moon phases are produced by 2 reasons: the movement of the moon around the Earth, and because the moon reflects light from the sun as a mirror. New moon. In this phase, the moon is passing between the Earth and the sun. The illuminated face of the moon is facing the opposite direction to Earth. The dark side ends up facing the Earth, and this is why we cannot see the moon. First quarter. You can see approximately 1 week after the new moon. One half of the illuminated side faces the Earth. It is called the first quarter because from the new moon phase, the zone illuminated by the sun grows every time. Full moon. Approximately a week after the first quarter, we can see the whole moon illuminated. The Earth is between the moon and the sun, and we can see it fully. Last quarter. The moon presents its other half phase illuminated. The name from the last quarter comes from the fact that the illuminated side becomes smaller and smaller each time. A very easy trick to know whether the moon is in its first or last quarter is the following. If the moon has the shape of a C, it is in the last quarter. And if it has the shape of a D, it is in the first quarter. So now you know the moon has 4 phases. New moon, first quarter, full moon, and last quarter. Now we are going to learn a few facts about the moon. Do you know the distance between the moon and the Earth? Although it looks as it's not very far away, the moon is about 385,000 kilometers from the Earth. Another very interesting fact is that a rocket takes 3 days to get to the moon. It's incredible, isn't it? The first astronaut that stepped on the moon was Neil Armstrong. And this very important accomplishment occurred in the year 1969 aboard on the Apollo 11 rocket. The moon is 4 times smaller than the Earth, which is very important for the sustainability of life in our planet. The moon generates tides. Do you know what a tide is? A tide is the rise and fall of the sea level. They occur every 6 hours approximately. Well, now you know a little bit more about the moon. Very interesting, right? Bye friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the Happy Learning channel.
So now we know that how moon orbits around the earth, right? So now that you all know how the moon orbits around the earth, right students? So to know more about moon and its phases, next I am going to show you a PPT about the phases of the moon. In that PPT I have included all 4 phases of the moon and a little description about the phases of the moon. So now let's see the PPT.
Students, can you please note down the important points from the presentation in your science exercise book? Moon. The moon is Earth's only natural satellite and one that we can easily see most nights. The moon does not shine with its own light. It simply reflects light coming from the sun. Phases of the moon. The phases of the moon are the different ways the moon looks from Earth over about a month. There are 4 main phases moon goes through: new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, and last quarter moon. New moon. A new moon is when the moon cannot be seen because we are looking at the unlit half of the moon. The new moon phase occurs when the moon is directly between the earth and the sun. First quarter moon. The first quarter moon or a half moon is when half of the lit portion of the moon is visible. Full moon. A full moon is when we can see the entire lit portion of the moon. The full moon phase occurs when the moon is on the opposite side of the earth from the sun. Last quarter moon. The last quarter moon or a half moon is when half of the lit portion of the moon is visible. These are the phases of the moon. As you all know now, the first phase is new moon, the second phase is first quarter, the third phase is full moon, and the fourth one is last quarter. So these are the 4 phases of the moon. I hope that you all know the 4 phases now.
How was the PPT? Was it informative and interesting? I hope you all liked the PPT. Now that we all know Moon is Earth's only natural satellite, and that the one we can see easily, right? And also we know that the moon does not shine with its own light. It just simply reflect light from the sun. Okay, so now let's talk about the phases of the moon. As we all know, the phases of the moon are the different ways the moon looks from Earth over about 1 month. And there are total 4 main phases moon goes through. So can you tell me the first one, the first phase? Can you tell me the first one? Yes, very good. The first one is new moon, right? The first one is new moon. Can we see new moon? No, right? A new moon is when the moon cannot be seen because we are looking at the unlit half of the moon. The unlit part of the moon is visible to Earth. That's why we cannot see new moon. The new moon phase occurs when the moon is directly between the Earth and the sun. So the new moon occurs when the moon is directly in between Earth and sun. So that was the first phase of the moon. So what do you think? What will be the second phase of the moon? Can you tell me? Yes, very good. So the second phase of the moon is first quarter moon. The first quarter moon or a half moon is when half of the lit portion of the moon is visible to Earth. That means we can see a half lit portion of the moon. So the second phase of the moon is first quarter moon. Okay. So what do you think the third one will be? The third phase. Can you all tell me? You have already learned it in the PPT, right? So can you tell me the third one? Yes, very good. The third one is full moon, and the most beautiful one. So a full moon is when we can see the entire lit portion of the moon from the Earth. The full moon phase occurs when the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun. As we can see, full moon occurs when Earth is in between full moon and sun. We can see the lit portion when Earth is opposite side of the Earth from the sun. So the third one is full moon, right? Okay. So what do you think the last one will be? Now we know that the first one is new moon, the second one is first quarter, the third one is full moon. So what will be the last phase? Can you tell me the name of the last phase? Yes, very good. It is the last quarter moon. The last quarter moon or a half moon is when half of the lit portion of moon is visible. Same as the first quarter, in the second quarter also we will see a half moon. A half lit portion of the moon is visible from the earth. So these are the four phases of the moon. So can you tell me all the four phases of the moon without looking? Okay, very good. Students, have you seen the phases of the moon? I guess most of you have seen the phases, right? Okay, so here is the work you have to do. So let me explain the homework. So what you have to do is you are going to make a table like this. Okay?
So this is how you should draw the table. So can you all please draw a rough copy of the table in a notebook, or you can take a picture of this table so later you can draw it in your science exercise book.
So you are going to draw a table like this. In the table, you will have to draw 3 columns. Date, time, appearance. 3 columns and 7 rows. And you have to draw this table for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. For 4 weeks, you are going to note down the appearance of the moon. So 4 weeks is 1 month, right? So for 1 month you are going to see the moon and checks its appearance. So each day you are going to write the date, the time you see, and how it looks like. In the appearance column you are going to draw how moon appears. So the table must be like this, and all of you must draw the table in your science exercise book. This is the end of our today's lesson. So I hope all of you liked today's lesson. Have a good day, stay safe, take care, and thank you.